Hey, what's going on, Z Nation? Zaid here, ZSPN. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers as it concerns their starting lineup for the Los Angeles Lakers going into the 2021 and 2022 season. And I want to give you all my thoughts and my opinions about specifically the shooting guard position and who will potentially be starting for the Los Angeles Lakers by the time I make this predictions. Things may change when it comes to training camp and, going into October and obviously the beginning of the regular season. And I want to give you all my thoughts and my opinions about it. But before anything, like always, guys, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share my videos all over Facebook, Twitter, all the good social media stuff. And of course, like always, please be sure to like my page on Facebook, ZSPN, and also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ZSPN. I'll leave the links to my social media sites in the description of this video so you guys can check out my social media sites. And of course, guys, subscribe to the channel ZSPN on YouTube. So, guys, a month ago, I made a prediction when it came to the Lakers starting lineup. As it stands right now, we already know the basics of who's going to start for the Lakers. Obviously, Russell Westbrook is going to be starting for the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James, obviously, and Anthony Davis. And it still remains to be seen when it comes to the center position because as we've been hearing for the past couple of months now, and according to Rich Paul and the Lakers, when it comes to certain roles and certain players, it still remains to be seen about the center position. It could be played by Anthony Davis, who's going to be playing more at the center position going into the regular season. Obviously we have the basics of who's going to be the center, and that is in between with Anthony Davis, DeAndre Jordan, and then you also have Dwight Howard as well. So it's kind of a mix, and it still remains to be seen who will be starting for at the center position. But we have an idea, basically, of who's going to potentially start at the center position. But, still remains to be seen. We have to see what's Frank Vogel's going to do and who's going to potentially fit with who, and we just have to wait and see about that certain position. But the shooting guard position is one of the most anticipated type of prediction, if you will, when it comes to who's going to basically start at the shooting guard position. It's so up in the air as this moment. And when I made my prediction last month, it was just up in the air, really. So it's still as stands now when I'm making this video. It's so hard to tell who's going to start at the shooting guard position. And there's a couple of names in mind that could potentially be starting for the Lakers when it comes to the shooting guard position. A couple of names coming to mind, obviously Malik Monk, THT, Ken Bazemore, and then you have Wayne Ellington. And there's some people out there that want Kendrick Nunn to be starting for the Lakers at the shooting guard position. But he, in my opinion, guys, and I believe I speak for most Laker fans when it comes to Kendrick Nunn, is that, he would be better suited coming off the bench, being that sixth man, just the seventh man coming off the bench, being the scorer that he is, and, bringing, he's a combo guard, if you will. He could play multiple positions when it comes to, the point guard position and at the shooting guard position. And he can score for you. And I think we need more depth and scoring from the bench role. And obviously Carmelo Anthony brings that to the table. And then you have, certain players that will step up to the table when it comes to depth-wise. But as it stands now, I think Kendrick Nunn would just fit very well for the Lakers in the second unit coming off the bench. And, I think he will fit very well with that sort of notion. So we had to obviously rule him out as being the starter for the Lakers. But as it stands now, and I watched, Lakers Nation's recent video with Trevor Lane, and obviously he brought up a couple of issues that really brought into sort of a perspective of who which player that will fit well with our three superstars on the starting lineup. And a couple of names come into mind when it comes to this particular position, and that is obviously when it comes to Wayne Ellington. Obviously he brings that shooting ability, and he brings a lot of. When it comes to spacing wise at the defensive side of the ball. When it comes to his experience being in NBA, he's a veteran, and obviously when it comes to somebody that will fit well with Russell Westbrook and obviously with LeBron and Anthony Davis. You have to think about Wayne Ellington bringing that sort of experience to the table. Shot 40% with the Detroit Pistons, and throughout his career he's been averaging around like 39 to 40% from the three. But when it comes to age wise, I can understand why people will go with somebody that's around the age range of Russell Westbrook and stuff like that, and that's why some people may go to Kent Bazemore, because he brings also the shooting ability for the Los Angeles Lakers, and plus his size also plays a huge role when it comes to defensive wise. And for a guy of his size who can shoot, and what he brings to the table could really help the Lakers as well. So Kent Bazemore also brings that sort of ability, and I think he is around that range of potentially getting that starting role because of his size, because of his shooting, and what he can obviously connect with Russell Westbrook when it comes to those two being the main focal point of the backcourt for the Los Angeles Lakers. So Ken Bazemore is kind of in between with Wayne Ellington, so that's somebody to really look forward to when it comes to potentially getting the shooting guard position. There's another player in mind. I believe most Laker fans would obviously want this particular player to start for the Lakers, and that is THT, Talen Horton Tucker, who obviously is 20 years old, and when it comes to what he brought to the table last season, brings a lot of promise to the table. I mean, even though he's lacking the shooting wise of what the Lakers are looking for, but he brings other traits to the table. He can attack the rim, he can play defense for you, and he's just one of those kind of skilled type of players that you would just love to see in the starting lineup. But I believe shooting is the most important thing for the Los Angeles Lakers when it comes to having somebody that can shoot up to 39 to 40% from the three. And, that's somebody that we just obviously who I've mentioned when it comes to Wayne Ellington and Kent Bazemore. Unfortunately for THT, even though he said he's working on his shooting, he is somebody that I can honestly say that just needs more time when it comes to getting a starting role for the Lakers. But it's not the question. Obviously, he's been getting a lot of appreciation from Coach Frank Vogel, and obviously from Rob Pelinka, the GM. So and I believe most people may say because he signed a big contract with the Lakers that maybe he should get in a starting role because of the contract that he got. So maybe that's why there's a lot of hype around him getting the starting role. So, but personally, guys, I would like to go with somebody who has experience with the shooting ability to the table. And obviously, I just see players like Kent Bazemore and Wayne Ellington would obviously be a good fit for the shooting guard position at the starting role. But we just have to wait and see. I mean, it's still, I don't want to say it's too early to tell because obviously training camp begins next week. So we just have to wait and see what will Frank Vogel's decision will be when it comes to the starting role. And last player that I want to bring up, and that is Malik Monk. Okay, and I believe most Laker fans would want to see Malik Monk start for the Lakers because obviously he shot 40% from the three last season with the Charlotte Hornets. And the shooting, as I said, and I'm going to continue saying it, it's the most important thing for the Lakers when it comes to what they can bring to the table shooting wise. And Malik Monk, obviously he brings that to the table. Unfortunately, guys, when it comes to other traits that he brings to the table, is kind of lacking on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, he can shoot for you. He can obviously score for you, but at the same time, defensively is kind of his. I don't want to say his weakness because he's obviously a young player that can develop. Develop playing defense. Since he's probably like 3 years, 4 years into the NBA season. He's still young. He can bring a lot to the table. That's why he may possibly fit on the second unit alongside Kendrick Nunn and with players like Carmelo Anthony and Rajon Rondo and Dwight Howard potentially if he will start for the Lakers or not. It still remains to be seen about that. So, shooting wise, it's on point, but at the same time, defensively is what's lacking Malik Monk, and obviously, the two best candidates for the shooting guard position is Wayne Ellington and Kendrick Bazemore. No, excuse me, Kent Bazemore. Excuse me. Those two particular players would. Obviously be in the conversation for the shooting guard position. Now, on a if I had to pick who will potentially start for you for the Los Angeles Lakers at the shooting guard position, I would have to go with Kent Bazemore. Okay, Kent Bazemore is the guy that you obviously have to go with when it comes to shooting and on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, and plus his size is the most intriguing for the Los Angeles Lakers when it comes to what he can obviously bring to the table, not just shooting, but obviously defending big men who will obviously be guarding him if he's the shooting guard. And I think he would just fit very well alongside, Russell Westbrook when it comes to their connections and what Russell Westbrook will do when it comes to passing the ball to Kent Bazemore. So that's the guy I really believe will that the Lakers should consider when it comes to that particular position. And plus, he basically took less to join the Los Angeles Lakers because he wanted a opportunity to start and better chance of winning when it comes to what he can bring to the table. And he turned down a lot of opportunities to go elsewhere to start. And I believe somehow he was promised by the Lakers when it comes to getting a big role on the team, but I might be mistaken from some other player. But that just plays a huge role of what the Lakers' expectations when it comes to him and getting a major role on the team. And what better way for him to get one? And that is the shooting guard position. And as I mentioned, he shot 39 to 40% throughout his career. And, he's just one of those type of defenders who could obviously bring a lot to the table at the shooting guard position as well. I mean, we are looking for a similar type of player to what KCP was when it comes to a guy who mostly played a lot of defense than shooting. But I believe Kent Bazemore will bring about an even shot when it comes to his abilities and what he can bring to the table, shooting and defensively. So that's my prediction. I mean, if you have to think about it now, guys, a potential starting lineup, it's going to be Russell Westbrook at the shooting guard position. No, at the point guard position, excuse me. And then you have the shooting guard position with Kent Bazemore. And then you have LeBron James, who will potentially either play the small forward position or the power forward. It still remains to be seen about that. And then you have Anthony Davis, who will play the power forward position or the center position. And if what the reports are being out there that is true, that Anthony Davis will be at the center position and LeBron James will be at the power forward position, kind of puts into question of who will be at the small forward position. Would it be Carmelo Anthony? Would it be Trevor Ariza? Or it could be potentially Kent Bazemore. Maybe he will be moved to the small forward position. And I think this kind of defeats the purpose of why I made this video. But guys, it is so up in the air as this moment. I mean, we already know the scope of who's going to start, but at certain positions, it's kind of questionable at the moment. And, it's kind of hard to say at this moment what we will see at the starting lineup, who will be the starters for the Lakers going into the regular season. It's so up in the air at this moment. And I really want to know, guys, your thoughts and your opinions about this Lakers starting lineup and who you think will start for the Lakers going into the regular season in October. Do you guys agree with my analysis? Do you think that Kent Bazemore should be the shooting guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, or do you think it should be Malik Monk or Wayne Ellington, or maybe THT, or maybe Kendrick Nunn? I mean, there's just a lot of situations when it comes to certain players in certain roles. But, that's why Frank Vogel has a lot on his plate when it comes to who will, show up at training camp and who will be the best, I guess, player that will fit at the shooting guard or potentially for this starting lineup. It's so up in the air at this moment, guys. So I really want to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Like this video, guys. Subscribe to the channel. And please make sure to like all of my social media sites, okay? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at ZSPN. I'll leave the links to my social media sites in the description of this video so you guys can check out my social media sites. And of course, guys, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Go Lakers. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe out there.